Hey folks, this is Kalani. We're going to be looking at the very best buildings you should be building in Warlords of Draenor if you want to be focusing on your raiding. So this is going to be very PvE orientated to try and get the best gear as possible in your hands as quickly as possible. So I'll go through small, medium and large. I'll do them in the importance factor, so how much they're going to affect your progression and how much they actually lend to your cause, and we'll go through them pretty quickly. If I have any extra information via a different video, then I'll link that as we're talking about it, just in case you want to get all the juicy details. To start with, the most important thing, personally, is your profession armor building. So, if you're a clothy, you want the Tailoring Emporium. If you wear leather or mail, you want the Tannery, and if you wear plate, you want the Forge. So you can craft your own gear, even if you don't have the respective profession. Now, I will note, the only difference between the crafted gear at the epic level for the building and the profession, so basically having the building and having the profession and just having the building, is that if you just have the building, it's going to be bind on pickup. So you could have an alt do this. You could have an alt with the required profession and the required building, but they'll need to be level 100. So that's going to delay your main a little bit if you need an alt to supply these materials. So you can craft the epic gear. It'll just be bind on pickup. Meaning you can't trade that to an alt, you can't trade that to anyone else, and you can't create the upgrade items required to upgrade it any further. But those are bind on equip, which means you can get them off the auction house, you can get them off the alt if you're supplying it via an alt, or you can get them off friends, etc, etc. So you can do it by an alt, just if you have it yourself it's going to be a lot quicker because you won't have to level to 100 twice. Moving on from there, the Salvage Yard is probably the second most important because it's the only building which can give you a chance at loot. Down there at level 3 you can recover salvage in missions at a greatly increased chance, but you can find player items in salvage. Now, reportedly, people have got 665 bind on equip items out of this box of salvage, which is Blackrock Foundry raid equivalent. That's kind of crazy, and for it to be bind on equip, that's a lot of money right there if you want to sell it. So Salvage Yard, incredibly important. The other thing here is that you can get items for your followers, which can increase their item level. We'll get to that a little later. From there, we want the barn in medium. The barn is really important because at level 2 you can get rare meats which are used for the best stat food. At level 3 you have a chance to get the best feasts for your raids, so that's obviously very important, and then you can also get Savage Blood. Remember those upgrade items for your crafted gear I was talking about earlier? Savage Blood is the main ingredient there. Savage Blood is the main ingredient in all crafted recipes. So if you want the crafted gear, you need Savage Blood. If you want to upgrade the crafted gear, you need Savage Blood. There are two ways to get Savage Blood. The barn at level 3 and then Primal Spirits. Primal Spirits seem to be primarily for gathering professions, so if you don't have those, you are going to need the barn. As a quick note, Savage Blood is not soulbound, so you can trade it, you can buy it on the auction house, so if you don't need the Savage Blood, the barn is going to be a very nice gold supply if you can sell the Savage Blood, which is kind of cool. The only other building which I'd say is a must for raiding is the War Mill. Level 2 grants you item level upgrades, basically, for your followers, and I said we'd talk about that, so let's talk about that. Follower missions can yield gear. You can get gear from sending your followers out on missions, but some of these missions depend on item level. For example, when your followers get to a high enough item level, you get access to dungeons, and then at a higher item level than that, you get access to raid missions. The dungeon missions can bring you back dungeon gear, and the raid missions can bring you back raid gear. So you can get gear from your follower missions as long as their item level is high enough, so both of those buildings providing those items is going to be very important. Level 3 grants one of your 3 seals of Tempered Fate, so it's a bonus reroll item. You either have to pay gold, honor, Garrison resources, or Apex's crystals to get these seals, and you just save yourself some resources, any of those currencies basically. But if you want more info on the seals of Tempered Fate, I'll link to a video somewhere on the screen about that, and you can happily go get all the juicy bits. So they're pretty much the only buildings that I'd say are incredibly important. The only other one which might be is the Enchanter's Study. You get access to enchants. Pretty self-explanatory. You may want the gem boutique, but the best gems can only be crafted by a jewel crafter anyway, so I'd probably go to a jewel crafter for mine, or, you know, have an alt, which is a jewel crafter, which is what I'll be doing anyway. So, as a quick recap, you want to build the building which can craft your armour, you want the Salvage Yard, you want the barn, and then you want the war mill. All of that is going to help you progress to get your item level as high as you can. So, if you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.